How's it going, everybody? Some of you might have seen my community post already with the poll asking what you'd nerf about Pirate. I don't think the complaining about Pirate has gone unnoticed by anybody really, be that other content creators or Ubisoft themselves. It's not quite as bad as it was when Orochi got reworked, but a lot of people seem to have issues with Pirates on some level or another. And that also goes for all skill brackets. Low and high MMR do complain about things on the character. And that creates problems in and of itself, since even if people agree that the hero needs nerfs, people will never agree on what exactly. So whatever I single out in this video might not be representative of your skill bracket, and you're free to disagree. When looking at the poll, unsurprisingly, the dodge recovery cancels are what people hate about her. I think they are just the means to what actually bothers players. There is no denying that characters that have recovery cancels tend to feel great to play. But they can also create problems. It is similar to delayable dodge attacks. I hate fixed timing dodge attacks. Missing the input because I didn't brainlessly buffer the attack is just aggravating on so many levels. And having the recovery cancels is similar. It feels nice not being stuck and having that extra mobility when it comes to dodge cancels. But even full block recovery cancels on Aramusha do feel amazing when you make them work. The point I want to make here though is that especially the dodge recovery cancels can lead to one specific feeling for the opponent. And that is that they feel unpunishable. Meaning what I'm trying to emphasize here and want to have as an end goal when looking at them is the following. Keeping the dodge recovery cancels so the character does not feel clunky, while at the same time giving opponents the option to still punish it if read correctly. I think this sentiment holds true for a lot of characters that are complained about, the quote-unquote unpunishable nature of certain heroes. Sometimes it's relentless offense that requires successful defensive action, and other times it's the slipperiness of a hero. For some, it's easy and very straightforward, and people simply need to pick up the required tools to deal with it, aka learn the matchup, while other times it's some convoluted nonsense where external dodging somehow negates everything, and only very specific heroes with very specific tools even have a chance of punishing it. And Pirate, well, where does she fall? It's not really convoluted, but she certainly feels very unpunishable when she chains dodge attack after dodge attack while externaling you. So here's my theory on why it feels so oppressive. You know the dodge attack is coming, you know you can't parry it, you don't want to be put into block or hit stun, so you try and dodge it. And here is the problem in my opinion. The hitbox of the dodge attack is massive. It's way bigger than you'd expect, and if you sit still in hopes of being able to guard break the next dodge recovery cancel, chances are you've been put in block stun, resulting in your GB coming out way too late. I included the hitbox option in the poll for a reason. For me, they stand out quite a bit. The dodge attack, the zone attack, the heavies. Pirate has deceptively large hitboxes. Or trajectories or whatever. I don't think we'll ever agree on the term here as a community. But you all know what I mean. She hits behind her, and at timings you simply don't expect to be hit by anything. This makes it insanely hard to even attempt the punish. Out of block stun, you are too late. And if you dodge it, then who knows where the fuck you ended up in terms of position. Are you even in range to do anything that can punish her? Because dodge attack in her dodge attack favors her as she just continues to loop into more iframes. Long story short, reducing the hitbox of a dodge attack might open up an avenue of successfully punishing it. I do understand that this at first glance might look like a band-aid at best. In general, giving heroes more tools to catch the extremely mobile characters should be something to be looked into. At the moment we do have full blocks for this, but the follow-ups also need to be undodgeable, as externally blocked dodge attacks, even with superior block, still allow for recovery cancelling. Same goes for superior block attacks. These also tend to have tiny range unless you play block prior. Others like Kyoshin, Warlord or Valkyrie simply stab the air with no results. And then on top of it, things like the confirmed gunshot on external targets obviously needs fixing as well. I'll link to Danny's findings in the description if I don't forget. What we also can't forget is the difference in ease of use. You guys can decide for yourselves whether keeping the correct lock-on during dodge attack loops is harder than trying to punish said move. I think most people will come to the same conclusion here though. At that point then we get into an almost philosophical debate in the For Honor community, since defense and offense is valued differently depending on skill bracket. So we're not starting this today, maybe another time. What's not really debatable though is that she feels way too safe. And instead of gutting the recovery cancels, we should look into other avenues like I've just tried to lay out. If that's not enough, then the next option would be to limit the recovery cancels to only specific moves. Well, maybe it's not that clear cut. Some players might prefer slower recovery cancels overall compared to not having them on moves that need them the most. We're once again running into the problem of making a character feel clunky. Both slowing them down or not having them at all can have that effect. And in my opinion, if a character feels terrible when playing them, no matter how balanced they might be, I'm not going to pick them. But yeah, that's my main gripe with her. But I do understand that there are smaller issues or people put different values on them. One thing I can absolutely understand are the complaints about hyper armor. Why does she need hyper armor on the forward dodge heavy? It is an unblockable, feintable roll catcher. Isn't that enough? Why would it need hyper armor on top of it? Aramusha's and Jormungandr's got nerfed over the years, and Parrot gets all of this on top of the unblockable property. This is one of the few instances where I understand the outcries about power creep. She doesn't need all these properties all at once. But at the same time, removing the attack like some demand is also a highly questionable approach. In the same vein, the other unblockable walk the plank and its gank capabilities. I don't think I can fit this into this video here, but moves that have an easy time breaking the third hitstun rule, well, not really break, but cleverly get around it is probably a better way of phrasing it. These types of moves are prime ganking tools, and when you see a lot of people complain about it, that means that these make-a-wish ganks that just happen by randomly pressing buttons are becoming very common with Pirate. Once again, we face the problem of what exactly to nerf here, because fixing this at the top level might not fix it for low MMR, since they don't know what they're doing, which certainly is a problem in and of itself. Why fix something for players that have no interest in actually learning how the things work? Suffice it to say, the infinite looping gangs aren't fun. They might be fun for the first 5 times, but then they get boring, both for the person stuck in it and the people performing them. Just to quickly cycle back, hyper armor is a common complaint and also a common request for, well, for a certain other hero. On one hand, people hate it and do struggle with it, despite being in the game for so many years. On the other hand, they do want more of it. If you guys want, I can break down hyper armor timings on different characters and give some tips in general. Just let me know. Alright, then might as well talk about her range too. Some of you might have seen the Pirate game plan video that I've made for Ubisoft. And since the fights in these videos are obviously all staged, we picked specific elements to draw attention to. At the very start of the fight in that video, I show how she roll catches with her gunshot. So there is absolutely no question that her range is really good. And she's also not the first character that has a range like that. JJ's finishes or Orochi's top unblockable come to mind. You expect your opponent to whiff, and then they put on the healies and somehow are immediately in your face. While you hear the occasional complaint about other characters, the fact that Parrot has that range on multiple moves makes her stand out in that regard. Range is always a delicate subject. There is not a single character that doesn't have a problem of some sort. T-Rex arms or the healies? Which problem would you rather have? But like I said, there is no denying that some of the moves look off when she slides all over the ground and grabs someone. The frequency at which this happens is what probably aggravates so many players. Should this get addressed? I hope Ubisoft doesn't go overboard with the nerfs. But let's wrap things up. This is probably not the last video about this hero, and I expect quite a bit of feedback from you guys. There is no denying how strong Pirate is, and that she might be overloaded with properties in some areas. It'll boil down to the usual debate of whether other heroes should be elevated or Pirate nerfed. Naturally, if you keep introducing strong heroes, all the ones will become worse and worse. And at the same time, if you do not innovate, you're stuck with stale, non-functioning heroes. Having said all that, hope the video was interesting. Thanks for watching. Laters everybody.